Greetings, BookTube! Welcome to Michael Romeo Talks Books. I am Michael Romeo, and I'm the one that's talking about books. But you all can talk about books too in the comments, and we can have great discussions in the comments. Please leave your comments about what I'm talking about the weather, about your favorite recipes, whatever you want to talk about. I love having discussions, and BookTube is a great place to do it. And some way, somehow, no matter what you're talking about, whether it's the weather or recipes or whatever, it always comes back around to books. Because books are that way. Anyway, we've got the 100 book challenge coming up. The Read What You Own challenge, 100 books that I have committed to. Still holding my breath. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. And I know it's going to be fun. It starts November 6th, and that's not all that far away. That's a week, about a little more than a week away. And I wanted to start now because I'm ready. I've got my stuff. I got my stuff. I got my cash. I've got stuff, and I want to start. But I'm gonna wait and start with everybody else on November 6th. And I'm still picking up the occasional book. Um, what I belong to BookBub and early bird books where you get these incredible deals, and I'm still picking up the occasional $1.99 book or the free book or $2.99, 99 cents, and just kind of peppering them in. And I found one by Justin Cronin called The Ferryman. Don't know much about the book other than what the little thumbnail blurb said. But I read another book by Justin Cronin last year or the year before, one of those, and I loved it. It was an awesome book called The Keys to the Kingdom, about a Chinese missionary. And this one is called The Ferryman, and the thumbnail was not very helpful in what it's about, so we'll just know it's by Justin Cronin, and it's called The Ferryman. And we'll find out as I do the challenge what it's about. But anyway, I wanted to do a video. Everybody who's doing the challenge has their own sets of rules. What's allowable, what's not allowable. Um, just a set of rules that you're comfortable with. My rules will not match other people's rules, and vice versa. But these are the rules that work for me as I'm going about this challenge. So, my rules, the rules of engagement. Okay, they're not many. Okay, the obvious one: no new books can be purchased during the challenge. They just can't. Once it starts November 6th, no more books. No more book purchases, I should say. Gifts are acceptable. I just can't read them. So if you want to send me books, I mean, that's awesome. Let me know. I'll give you my address and you can send me books. I just won't read them until after the challenge is over. So there you go. Rereading a book is okay if it's a book I read before the start of the challenge. Rereading a book within the confines of the challenge is just reading the same book twice. And that doesn't work. At least for me, it doesn't work. Maybe it works for other people, but for me, that one just didn't feel right. So, yes, I can reread books as long as it's books I read before the challenge started. Plays count as books. Some people don't want to count them because they tend to be short, thin volumes. They're not novels. They're not prose. But I think plays are books, and I have some. As a matter of fact, I've got one right here, I think, that I'm planning to do. And it's an old book, old copy, too, of Romanov and Juliet by Peter Ustinov. and wonderful, wonderful, delightful little romantic play. Um, and I could probably even use this as one of my Cold War reads in November when we're doing Dr. November, the Dr. November reading event, which is being curated by Mark at Booktown with Elvis. Because this is about the Cold War. It's about the son of a, um, a Russian diplomat and the daughter of an American diplomat. And you guess what happens? They fall in love. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll read that one early. We'll call it a double whammy. But yeah, plays count as books. A collection of novels in one volume count as multiple novels. For instance, I have sitting back here, I'm not going to pull it out because everything will go toppling. A book that's 3 complete novels by Peter Straub in one big thick volume. If I read that, I've read 3 novels. Because they are 3 complete novels, they were originally released as standalone novels. And I have a lot of those omnibus type books where it's 3 novels in one, 5 novels in one. And they will count by as many books as are in the volume. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Novellas count as books. And I don't know why I put that in there because I don't really have a lot of novellas. I think I've got a couple lying around, but I guess I put it in there just because in case I find a novella that I want to buy before the 6th, it'll count. And audiobooks count. I have an Audible subscription and a Kobo subscription, both of which I've suspended for the course of this challenge. But I have a stack of audiobooks from both of them that I've bought and I just never got around to listening to. Well, they count. Audiobooks do count. I've always counted audiobooks as books anyway. I know some people do. Well, that's not reading. Well, okay, that's your opinion. I have my opinion. It is reading, as far as I'm concerned. So I will count audiobooks, which will help me because I'm a slow reader. And I am going to start listening to audiobooks on the way to and from work and running errands and cleaning the house. And we'll get through this challenge. We're going to get through it one way or the other. Anyway, those are my rules. That's it. Not very many. Very concise. No new books. Gifts are acceptable, just can't read them. I can reread if it's a book I read before the challenge began. Plays count as books. Novellas count as books. A collection of novels in one volume count as however many books are in the volume. And audiobooks count. So there we go. Those are my rules of engagement. And I've gotten prepared here. I've got books here that are possible reads for the challenge. And I've got a box of books down in the junk room that I want to pull out because I know it has some books in it that I want to include. Simply because they're short. And I've also on my tablet, on my Kindle Fire, you can break up your books into categories. And I've got one here, the 100 Challenge. And this is just a bunch of, let's see if I can do this without opening a book. Books that are possible reads. It doesn't mean I'm going to read all of these. It doesn't mean I'm going to, I think I've actually got more than 100 books here. So, but, there we go. Populated. Okay. But anyway, yeah. And some of the books that I've got in here, I've got a bunch of Donald Westlake. Donald Westlake was a wonderful mystery suspense writer, very popular in the 60s and 70s. And I've got a bunch of his here. Some of them are comedies. Some of them are really true down-to-earth suspense, hold your breath kind of books. So I got a bunch of his. And I've got some Joseph Wambaugh, which I've got a couple of him on the shelf too as well. Joseph Wambaugh, crime writer, did a lot of police stuff. I've got some Leon Uris. I've got The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim. Um, One of my things, if you go back to the early days of my channel, I have a list of books that are movies that were made into movies. Well, I've seen the movie, but I've never read the book. Well, I've seen the movie Enchanted April more times than I can count. It is a wonderful movie. And I'm going to finally read the book. There's a number of those in here. I've got The Graduate. The Graduate is another one. Oops, I think I just opened a book. Stop. Stop. Yeah, I interrupted it. Okay. The Graduate, with the one with Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft. Okay, you young people, I understand you don't know. But those of you my age, you remember The Graduate. I'm sure you do. I've got some Thomas Tryon books, including one of his horror books that I've never read called Night Magic. I've got some Alan Titchmarsh books that I hadn't read. Alan Titchmarsh is a British writer. And I've got a whole series of William G. Tapley. Lots of books by him. Many of which I've read, so I'm not going to read a lot of his. I'll reread some of the better ones. But I don't want to spend the entire time reading books I've already read. So I'll do a handful. I've got some Mickey Spillane here. I, the Jury, My Gun is Quick, Vengeance is Mine, One Lonely Night, The Big Kill, Kiss Me Deadly. I've got some Anne River Sidons, Irwin Shaw, all wonderful authors. Mario Puzo, I've got The Godfather, The Fortunate Pilgrim, The Ocarina, Alive, the story of the Andes survivors, true story about a plane crash with a rugby team on board that crashed in the highest peaks of the Andes Mountains and what they had to do to survive. The Milagro Beanfield War, another one where I've seen the movie, but I've never read the book. Well, the book is here. I'm going to read it. Same thing with Sayonara by James Michener. Just wonderful stuff. And this has all been sitting on my shelf just waiting to be read. And I'm excited that I'm finally going to read them and stop getting squirreled by new purchases. So that's it. That is the rules of engagement. That's what's happening. Let me know in your comments if you're doing the challenge. And if you are, what are your rules? What do you think of these rules? And again, like I said, you can talk about your favorite recipe. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about puppies. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about you, Toby. Yep. And I've got another one right here. Oh, it's the baby. Yep, that's my baby. My little sweetie. Yep, gotta show her off every chance I get. She is such a good girl. So full of love. And so talk about stuff in the comments. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. This is going to be a fun challenge, and I'm going to report on it regularly, where I am, what books I've read, and whatever else I want to talk about regarding the challenge. So that's it for now. Keep reading. It's a good thing to do. And enjoy your books. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Of course, my remote may say something otherwise.